Being AFK, whether going to the restroom, washing dishes, feeding your dogs, or just doing something really urgent while inside of a game, everyone at one point in their lives has been AFK in a game or just inactive. Now, Destiny 2 has recently updated all their AFK measures to reflect new times because apparently people are just abusing AFK measures and just, going and making tons of glimmer mining and planetary material farming on the forges, if you guys remember that glitch a while back. Now, with that being said, Guardians, I have compiled a whole list of every single activity in the Destiny 2 game about all their AFK times. And so, I just need you Guardians to remember a couple simple numbers for me. Now, these numbers do vary on some activities that may have just been because of lag or loading times or stopping screens. I'm not really sure why that variation happened, but I do have a couple theories. Anyway, Guardians, I just need you guys to remember a couple numbers. Just remember the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 15. These are the four main numbers that are actually affecting all of the Destiny 2 universe. These are the four numbers that Bungie has defined all their game types around. And so, as you can see in the background, Guardians, this is actually a picture of this is the entire solar system of Bungie of Destiny 2. Here are all the times next to every single planet and respective to them. Every patrol mode, you get 15 minutes to go AFK. And so if you load into patrol mode, Guardians, you are fine. 15 minutes is the default AFK time, and so you can go pop a pizza in the oven and go watch a YouTube video or whatever for 15 minutes, and you can get back and still be in the game, Guardians. Now, here's the stuff you probably want to know the times for. Iron Banner and Crucible and everything else. Now, I tested out every Crucible game mode just to see if there were any changes across the board in Crucible, and sadly to report, there were not. The 1, 2, and 3, though, apply to Crucible, because Iron Banner, it gives you 2 minutes for every Iron Banner match. No Crucible match ever expands out to 3 minutes. It's always 2 minutes of AFK time for every Crucible match, including Iron Banner. But as you can tell here, we have some differentiation between 2 minutes, and then it drops me to 1 minute 30, and then 1 minute 10, and then to 50 seconds. Now, why would Destiny 2 do that? Why would Bungie do that? And so I have a theory for this time dropping here, as I got AFK kicks every single time. I believe that Bungie actually, has a hidden clock in the background telling us, hey, this guy's been AFK for the last 2 games, or he's played the last 2 games within the last, 5 or minutes. We should probably drop his AFK time. And so that's why they kicked me a little bit faster. And so the lowest I got it to for a couple games straight was actually 1 minute and 10 seconds. I got it there for at least 3 games straight. And I said, well, it's just going to keep on going like this infinitely. Alright? But I also found out that when I was inside of a game and I had 2 players circle around me, it was a warlock and another hunter. They started circling around me with their ghosts, and it looked like they were reporting me. In that game, I believe they reported me for inactivity, and my time dropped to 50 seconds. It knocked 20 seconds off my time. And so if you are reported for inactivity from any other players in your fire team, Guardian, I believe it drops more of your time, whether that be 20 seconds, 30 seconds, or more of your time. If you were reported for inactivity, your time will drop, it looks like. As for also momentum control, now momentum control is a faster game mode, and like all faster game modes, you get less time actually. And so momentum control, the timer has dropped us down to 1 minute, 1 minute 30, 1 minute 20, 1 minute 10. It just is all variations around 1 minute 30 seconds. Now, the reason I think this one was just so varied between all the times is just because of, honestly, load zones. I have no other explanation for this, because I was consistently dropping out of momentum control matches, but there was no pattern to it as there was with Iron Banner, and so I have no idea why the times were different in momentum control. I'm thinking it just had to deal with lag and connections of all the other players inside of that activity. As for elimination in labs, this made sense to me that it was 2 minutes and 2 minutes 10, 2 minutes 40 and 2 minutes 10 because of the round screen, Guardians. You get a bunch of round screens during all of elimination rounds. Every time you complete a round at elimination, when all 3 players get eliminated, there is at least 20 or 10 seconds of just a loading screen as the round goes to the next round. And so every time it gave me more time in 2 minutes 40, 2 minutes 10, 2 minutes 10. Every time I got more time from that, Guardian, is because of a longer load screen, a longer round screen, or more rounds in general, just allowing my player just not to be in the Destiny 2 universe, and so it wouldn't count up my timer to kick me out. And we're going to go over all of the more activities, Guardians. We have Gambit. Gambit is just a normal 3 minutes. I tried loading into a bunch of Gambit matches. They do not have any secret timers, Guardians, so you can just load in and just make sure to get back in 3 minutes, and you will be set just to keep on playing, Guardians. Just go and wash your dishes, go toss your food in the microwave, and just be back within 3 minutes, Guardians, and you will make the time cut off and just jump and shoot and you'll be fine. Something I forgot to mention before, Guardians, as long as you are jumping and you are shooting, either or, if you jump or if you shoot, you will actually avoid the AFK timer in Destiny. That is what they consider AFK. If you are jumping, that ruins the AFK timer. If you are shooting, that ruins the AFK timer. But if you are simply running around or just looking around or just walking around, you actually will still get kicked for being AFK. You need to jump, Guardians, and you need to shoot. Don't believe me? You Guardians can go try this out. I guarantee you will get kicked. Go to a Crucible match and just walk around or run around, but never jump and never shoot anything. And you will see how fast you get kicked for being AFK. Go to a strike match and just run around or walk around and just look around, but never jump and never shoot, and you will still be kicked for being AFK even though you are moving around, Guardians. And so just watch out. The way to just avoid being kicked for being AFK, Guardians, as always, is just to somehow keep jumping somehow. Put on a macro or put something to just keep touching your controller. Maybe put a little kibble bit for your cat to hit on your controller's A button so your cat just keeps hitting it. Or maybe a laser pointer to shine on your controller's A button so an animal will hit it for you. I mean, just something creative, Guardians, to just keep yourself jumping or yourself shooting, and you'll keep yourself being stopped from going AFK. And so that's why AFK timers in Destiny, you can't just tie a rubber band around both your joysticks on your controller or leave a paperweight on your keyboard, because it doesn't work like that. You just need to be constantly jumping, or you just need to be constantly actually shooting, Guardians, to avoid the AFK timers. As for Vanguard strikes, the same thing around, Guardians. 3 minutes every single time, 3 minutes every single time, unless there's one instance here where I got 2 minutes 45, but again, I just think this was variation because of the lag and because of load zones. I think that the normal time for Vanguard strikes is 3 minutes, and they don't have actually any AFK timer behind it, and there's really no reason to in Gambit and Vanguard strikes. Those aren't really as competitive as Iron Banner would be. I can totally see the reason they have hidden mechanics in Iron Banner, because this is one of the most competitive game modes, and why would we want people just going AFK and not being kicked faster and faster if they're just requeuing and being AFK all the time? As for Vex Offensive, the new Shadowkeep game mode, I tried it out. 3 minutes all around. It seems all the Vanguard or killing enemy game modes are around a 3 minute timer, while all, against players, PvP game modes are around a 2 minute or a 1 minute timer. Now, Nightmare Hunts, actually, I loaded into one fresh in 2 minutes 30 seconds, then I loaded into another one and 3 minutes, and then all my rest of them were also 3 minutes, and so I'm thinking just lag again caused this, Guardians, but just 3 minutes for this one as well. Festival of the Lost, the event for Halloween, Guardians, this is a haunted forest, 3 minutes all around, and this was very, very strange, because I would just load in and I felt so bad, because if you are not helping out your friends on Festival of the Lost, you actually do not get that far at all in your rounds. And so I'm sorry to all the players I actually pissed off or actually made lose their Crucible matches, Nightmare Hunts, and various other activities by going AFK just to test out these AFK timers and make a video for you guys about them. I am very sorry to all these people. You can see in the background of my video of me just being AFK. I'm sorry to all those people. I have made your lives probably a little bit worse just by almost probably making you lose the match. I remember there was a time in a Crucible match where I just sat there AFK and my entire team left because I was AFK. This is insane. I was just 4v4 and the rest of my players left, and it was just me being AFK farmed. It was insane. But I can see their anger as part of that though. Adventures, which are part of patrol mode, are also at 15 minutes. Anything that's kind of part of patrol mode is going to be stacked at 15 minutes, Guardians. Even, raids are actually at 15 minutes as well, which is kind of interesting because they consider raids part of patrol mode, which is kind of cool. Quest missions are also at 15 minutes, and so if you load into, say, 0 hour normal or 0 hour heroic, a quest mission or any quest mission that's like a blue little crown, those are all 15 minutes. They are all considered a part of patrol mode because they are on the destination of the world and they are not their own separate little missions. Now, here's the interesting part. the Red World campaign actually stops itself at 14 minutes, not 15 minutes, which is a little bit interesting. Curses of Osiris campaign stops itself at 14 minutes and 30 seconds, and the Warmind campaign stops itself at 14 minutes, which I thought was very interesting. They had varying AFK times for all of these campaigns. I'm sure they all meant to reach 15 minutes, but whatever the reason was, because of my lag or my connection or something along the lines, my AFK times are different. And so if you Guardians have a bad connection to Destiny 2 games, or you don't have the greatest internet connection, expect these AFK times to be a little bit different, either 10 or 20 seconds in difference. And so make sure, Guardians, if you are leaving to go AFK and you have a bad internet connection, or you think you have a bad internet connection, give yourself a little leeway in terms of when you're getting back. Say if you want to go and use the restroom for at least a minute or two, make sure you get back before that minute or two, because your connection may actually well decide whether you get kicked for being AFK or not, Guardians. Now, the Reckoning is also a 3-minute activity. This is part of Gambit, and Gambit Prime is also 3 minutes. You see, these Vanguard activities are just 3-minute activities, Guardians. Now, if you do load into a private Crucible or Gambit match, these private matches are actually the longest type of activity you can be inside in Destiny without getting kicked, other than, staying in orbit or being in the tower. I know I can spend hours in the tower and the game won't kick me for some reason, and you can spend hours in orbit and the game will still not kick you for some reason. I'm sure you can just leave yourself in orbit because it doesn't actually consider you in the game. Now, private Crucible and Gambit matches, you can last for up to 20 minutes inside, and so you set the timer for however long you want. For a Crucible match, you can set it to 30 minutes, and if you do not move, it will only actually kick you at 20 minutes of not moving. And so watch out, Guardians. If you don't move for 20 minutes, I'm not sure why you wouldn't. You will be kicked from whatever private Crucible or Gambit match you are in. Now for Nightfalls, Guardians, the typical 15 minutes for a Nightfall by yourself. Now this is a Nightfall with no other people, because you're not actually doing a matchmaking activity. It seems like whenever you don't do a matchmaking activity that the timer gets boosted up to 15. If it's like a raid or something that you choose your own people for, or a patrol activity, that is not actually being matchmaking or finding other players in the world. It seems to be a 15-minute timer all around, and so Nightfall by yourself or with friends is 15-minute timer. Now, the Nightfall, the Ordeal, we are finding other people for this. It's a matchmaking activity, and so the timer drops to 3 minutes, and it stays at 3 minutes for all of that, and so make sure to get back before then, Guardians. The Menagerie, if you load in halfway or if you go refresh, it's a 3-minute timer for each of them. This is more consistent than any of my last tests. The Tribute Hall on Nessus has also a 15-minute timer, Guardians. It's a patrol mode. It's something that you don't matchmake for, and so matchmaking activities seem to have this whole around godly timer of 15 minutes. Crucible activities have this godly timer of 2 minutes or 1 minute, depending on what you're playing, and changing depending on how many matches you've been AFK for. And Gambit and everything else Vanguard related has a 3-minute thing. Now, Forges are one of the last thing I want to talk about. Forges, you actually cannot be kicked for actually being AFK inside of them unless, people are actually completing the Forge. Now, the normal time for being kicked inside a Forge is 3 minutes, but if you have more people being AFK inside the Forge with you and the Forge ends, you will just infinitely go in that Forge not receiving anything at all. And so this is rather interesting, Guardians. If you guys want to all DDoS Destiny servers at one time, I know we crashed Destiny for at least an hour or two or a day or two, I can't remember it is, because we were all just sitting inside of Forges and, not letting enough players. Players would have to come up to a Destiny 2 is currently, full sign for a couple of weeks because everyone was just sitting inside of Forges AFK farming planetary materials. Now, Bungie has patched that, so players are not doing this anymore at all. But if you guys all decide to DDoS Destiny, if we all want to just kill Destiny servers right away, everyone either hop into a tower instance, or we all hop into the Forges, and we just keep ourselves going and creating new instances for everything. Now, Guardians, we've gone over all of the AFK timers in Destiny. Use these how you will, Guardians. I assume most of you are going to use this for bad things. Most of you are going to say, hey, I have 3 minutes for this, I'll get back in 2 minutes 40, and in that 2 minutes 40, Guardian, you will probably have screwed over your entire Gambit team or whatever thing you are playing. And so watch out, Guardians, if you do use these timers to others people's disadvantages, well, I hope you guys do not get reported or banned. If you do use these to your advantages, like, you know, saying, hey, I got 2 minutes to get back in a Crucible match, I gotta go take my food out of the microwave super quick, I'll be super back. You know, use that to your advantage. And Guardians, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I hope you guys have enjoyed learning all of these AFK times. Again, I am sorry to all the people I screwed over in collecting this data, and I hope you guys use this to your advantage so you don't screw over anyone in trying to find out these yourself. Thank you, Guardians, and leave a like and subscribe if any of this information is useful to you. I'll see you, Guardians, in the next one.